Hi, Geekella here, and I just wanted to share a little bit about a watercolor warm-up exercise I've been doing, which are these kind of contour drawings of flowers without picking up the pen, and then kind of color it in with watercolor. This has been a really fun warm-up to kind of work on shapes and color without worrying too much about exact form. So here's two where I already filled in the color. And I have some others that I have worked on. And today I want to try one more together and maybe fill in the color just to kind of show you how easy this warm-up is, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm going to be working with a drawing or a photo of some marigold flowers. I usually use website Pexels or Unsplash, and I'm just going to be kind of attempting to draw some of the flower shapes without picking up our pen. I think I'm going to go with my 3 micron. And we're just going to start off by doing some very loose form sketches of our marigolds. And I like to do this without, as I said, picking up the pen, or picking it up kind of minimally. If I do pick it up, kind of starting where I left off. And I just feel like these contour drawings are a fun way to practice some sketching without really being too particular, too fussy with our painting. All right, so we did one, and then I think we're gonna kind of go down and up and add in some little buds here. And then kind of from the stem looks like where leaves, and I feel like marigolds have like very spiky leaves, so we'll kind of do some spiky shapes. Maybe we'll have another kind of section of leaves over here. Maybe this will have another bud on it. And then I want to do one more marigold flower. I'll go over here. They kind of have this kind of scalloped shape on the petals. And the picture I'm using, reference picture, is like very sparse marigolds. You could do this obviously with very full ones, but we're kind of trying to capture what we see in our reference photo, which is kind of very sparse marigolds. And there's our little contour sketch of marigolds. As I said, I really like this as a way to sketch and just get some, warm-up exercises done without being too particular about, exactly how it looks. I'm just going to activate my paint palette with a little water in a spray bottle. I've been really loving this paint palette I picked up at a little store when I was vacationing in North Carolina. It's from this brand Viviva Colors that I believe these are made in India, and it's a very light palette on cork. It comes with a nice range of colors, and we're just going to use that and a little porcelain well with some of those colors in it as well from a painting yesterday. And we're going to add in just very kind of loose drops of color here. Again, trying to stick with a very loose warm-up sketch. I do like the way that in the reference photo, these marigold flowers kind of have darker in the center and then kind of get lighter on the way out. So we're going to try to get a little bit of that. And I'm working quite wet here with my paint, just trying to get some nice rich blobs of color down. And we are not just coloring the lines. I kind of like the way it looks where some parts are over the line, some parts are not. It gives it like a cool effect. I'm gonna add in some orange on my buds. And I feel like marigolds have a very like rich green leaves, like not a very like yellowish green. So we'll go in with a nice rich green we mixed up. Add in my leaf colors. Probably gonna go back over the leaves with a second layer. Avoiding the spots where my orange is still super wet so that we don't get too much bleeding. And just getting some thick color direct from the palette in there to add in kind of a second shade of green and get it on kind of thick so it stays nice and vibrant. All right, the last part is the marigolds kind of have like the yellow little, is it stamen, this part, and then it ends with like a kind of dark dot on the end. So for my full flowers, that part's yellow, and I'll go in with some dark color there. And that one might bleed a little, but that's okay. Maybe this one is like just opening and we'll add a couple little dots to him. So there is our marigold. You know, just like a little, what, 5 to 7 minute warm-up exercise, drawing, you know, with minimal pickups of the pen, just like a very free-form, loose contour drawing, and then kind of adding in some color. And I really like the way that these sketches work out. It's a great way to kind of warm up and practice your watercolor in a sketchbook or kind of as a little daily exercise. Thanks for watching.